just looking at, I guess, ways to. So I got kind of the structure in place that I'm going to do. It's pretty much an equity structure.
Okay.
Um, just looking at in terms of getting it off the market. Like, should I be using a template LOI or anything to kind of protect myself because there's no broker involved? What would you suggest?
Yeah, I mean, we can send over a template LOI. You want to make sure that it doesn't. You may want to water it down a little bit just so it doesn't intimidate them. A lot of times, I mean, if you just send them an email, it depends on the relationship. I mean, we'll send our formal LOI. If you send them an email and they say yes, that has the equal amount of enforceability as an LOI, because an LOI has zero enforceability.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I guess what I'm nervous about is just getting right into the due diligence, and then somebody coming along and giving him a better deal, right? And then
I agree.
Me doing all that work. So if I have that email in place, like, do I have to say in that email, this takes the deal off the market and I have exclusive?
No, I mean, if you're worried about that, I would do the LOI, but just understand that
Right.
it has. There's nothing you can put in a LOI that makes it enforceable.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just a part of the thing. The great thing is, though, sellers do not know that. So we know that because of just this case law. I mean, just there have been cases that have come before the court, and in no case will a judge force somebody to sell something in these smaller deals, especially. Even in larger deals, it's just, they're just like, I mean, they don't want to sell it anymore. We're not going to force them. So it's just a tough thing to enforce. But I'm curious about the deal. Tell me, tell us about the deal. You can't just come on and say, "Oh, I got this no money down deal," and tease us. Oh, that's it. That's all I wanted, guys. We don't have to go into the details.
Yeah, just leaving the big meatball hanging out there. So yeah, we've been working on this one going a few months back, and you know what? It's going to be a lot more work. It's definitely not a passive kind of deal. So this company's been operating for about 5 years, and it's kind of an offshoot from their opco. They just kind of saw an opportunity, and it's what it is. It's polypropylene rugs, like most like outdoor, like home and garden type niche, and RV type niche as well. So they have manufacturing connections with their fashion business. Started this up kind of as like a side hustle for the wife, and she just didn't know how to grow it, and got to not really like it after a little bit. So, but it's got some diversified traffic. They're on Wayfair, they're on Home Depot, they're on Amazon, and they're pretty much like not doing anything at this point, and they have orders coming in just cause. And there's also other opportunities just with brick and mortar distribution, which is my background, that they haven't explored at all to get into some main distributors in Canada and the US. So the deal structure, I initially offered them 15% of the new entity, and just kind of convinced them that I could take it over and grow it. And he said no, and then that was 2 months ago, and a couple of deals fell through, and his listing was up with his broker on April 30th, and I got a call on May 1, and so we've been talking a little bit, and just kind of have to, I think we're gonna get a deal done. I mean, who knows? But he's at the end of his rope, and he just wants something for it. So I might have to structure in like a little bit of a training contract or something for his wife, just to put a little bit of cash in his hand, not up front, but over 6 months or something like that. And then the 15% equity.
I love it. We'll talk in a lot of detail. There's just so much with this stuff, and that's why this is a 2-year process. One of the many reasons. And one of the things that's just an amazing strategy that past clients have absolutely just killed it with. And, we'll talk a little bit about the different strategies today, but one of the things is the consulting for equity, which, I mentioned earlier in the call, but we'll go through and give you the the PowerPoint to use to convince somebody to do it, some of the contracts, just the process, how you attract those people in. But yeah, that's kind of like a consulting for equity deal. So that is awesome, sir. That's exciting.
I'll keep it posted.
Excellent, excellent. Anything from either of you guys?
Hi.
Jen. What's up, Jen?
Hi. I made an offer on a juicing site.
Yeah.
I sent it over to you. It's a 13-year-old site. I like the longevity on it. Makes about $113,000 a year. It has 1.1 million Facebook followers. The domain ranks about 59. Backlinks 135,000. Looks very white hat to me. Gets about 132,000 visitors a month. And they were asking $350. But some of the downsides are she's an expert health coach and she writes everything herself, writes, edits, does the website maintenance. So, to me, that was a downside, which I didn't like. But she does have one doctor that she works with that writes some articles. So that was positive.
Nice.
So I basically said I'd offer 301, and I was aggressive because these content sites, especially with that longevity.
Yep. That's a great one. And we're in the space, and it's a great space.
It is, and it's a niche that I like. So I think I would, really enjoy being in that niche. So anyway, I basically took last year's earnings. She said she wrote about 4 articles a week, and deducted those costs and offered 301. 50% down, and then after 6 months, and earn out 50% of gross revenue. So they came back and said they gave actually two counter offers. They said 320, and they wanted 80% down, and after 60 days, they wanted the earn out to start. So I went back to them because the amount of articles that were actually written were only 2 a week. So it was about 8 a month. So I said I would offer 309 and, 60% down after 6 months, and earn out on the balance. So they came back and said, they offered a few other things because there were some old ebooks that they had on the site. And I said, I wanted those, it's an asset of the business. And they said, well, they're a little outdated. But they threw those in and said they would update them because those would be good lead magnets for Pinterest, for Facebook, and to build up the email list. Because they have 1 million Facebook followers, I wanted, to convert some of those onto the email list because she's got about 9,000 people on her list right now. So that would have been really, interesting. So anyway, she threw a couple of things in. She would write some articles for the site for, 2 months. She would update all the ebooks, and she said she would go to, 309, but she wanted 85% down and then would finance the rest, after 60 days. So basically I told the guy, I said, I'm not going to go more than 60%. I said, that's very aggressive for me personally. And, I couldn't go any further. We had a conversation today at 5 o'clock. And the broker's really nice. He's trying to figure out a way. And
who's the broker on it?
Ryan Kaufman at Digital Acquisitions.
Digital, yeah, okay. I know the name. Yeah, you're right. I know Ryan. Ryan's a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy. So, we kind of went and had a call today, and, he said he talked to Sarah again, but, that's kind of where we're stuck. So at this point, we'll see what happens. But what else, I really like that the fact they had 1,200 articles. You can go back into some of those articles that really performed well. You can expand them. 2,000 or 3,000, words. That would be an easy, I don't want to say a total win, but looking at the traffic on some of these articles and, the revenue, the highest revenue articles, I would go back in and expand on. And also 4 to 5 sponsored posts a month, she wasn't charging for. So that would be another win to the bottom line because eventually I would charge for those. And so, yeah, there was definitely, I felt a lot of opportunities in this site. It's just we're stuck on the amount, I want to put a certain amount down. She wants more, and we're kind of at that stalemate. And, that's where we are right now.
Good. That brings up something that I will likely do a video on, but it's good to chat a bit about. Is there is a ton of money on the market right now. I can't remember which group. It's come up maybe in one of the groups, but there's a company called Income Store.
You mentioned that, right?
Yeah, and they and this is just kind of behind the scenes info, but they had a guy. They basically got a bunch of money that is gonna be flooding the market maybe the next 2 months. So you'll see some things where it's just 100% cash. No questions. If you're familiar a little bit, and I may not share this call because I don't want this coming out. Actually, I'm going to do a separate